Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Paige Ryan, and today we are talking about the 24th annual Garden State Film Festival, New Jersey's premier independent film festival. Now, Garden State's Film Festival will return from March 26th through March 29th with over 200 films from various countries screening at 9 different venues throughout Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. Tickets are available now at gsff.org/tickets, and there will also be tickets available at the door while supplies last. And now let's meet today's filmmaker. Today I am here with Jeffrey Elmont, writer director, here to talk about his short film No Nation. Welcome, Jeffrey. How's it going?
Hey, hello. How I'm doing? Fine from the West Coast.
Yes, we're sunny, warm. That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We're excited to talk about your film. So we can just jump right in. Um, can you tell us a little bit about your film?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I used to play soccer as a kid, and there was always this fascination in my stories to use sports as an element.
Mhm.
So I created this like hybrid of different sports in this futuristic world that you can compare with like Mad Max meets no you know those post-apocalyptic films, dystopian movies, and I wanted to tell it from this young girl's perspective that she's in this world. Humanity can't live on the surface anymore because the sun is burning the surface during the daytime. So
Mhm.
humanity lives in caves underground, and humanity is using this hybrid sport as a form of battle to negotiate for refuge and for supplies. So we jump into this story of this tribe, and we follow this young girl who is part of a the gladiator team with her dad, as I
Mhm.
say, the duo, to protect their tribe. And basically, they have to battle against another tribe who wants to find refuge for a night. But then it goes wrong basically in that sense that it's not, humanity in sense like you don't if one part there's a conflict in that sense, sharing and not sharing of the space.
Mhm.
So
Very nice. Very nice. And what were some themes that you were I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but like what were some themes that you were hoping to just kind of like explore or what questions kind of as you were going throughout the process of like writing and directing did you kind of hope to explore in this film?
the most important thing and the biggest challenge is like usually in a story you have good and bad,
Mhm.
you know there is or evil and then your protagonist, but I wanted to create this gray area. So there's a mixture of elements going on in the story where characters who supposed to be your protagonists make
Mhm.
bad decisions, and
Yeah.
the other way around as well. So it's more about the gray area that I'm trying to find the multiple layers. That was the biggest challenge for me. It's because besides the visual aspect of the film and the action, it's about for me the character development, the character study of these people.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's like if you see, for example, a Mad Max, this is more a world where there is no more cars, there is no more transportation, so people travel during the night when the sun is under. That is the main storyline, but in a sense it was a character study of humanity. I did a lot of research about climate change,
Mhm.
what the sun would do, how realistic would this be. So I did a lot of research regarding climate change and regarding the sun, the distance and the heat that it creates. Because if, for example, if you go to Palm Springs every year, it becomes warmer and warmer.
Mhm.
Um, I remember as a kid, I used to go on vacation in Greece and in the summer, and it was so hot that your flip flops started melting on the asphalt when you were walking on the street. It was because it was so hot. So
Yeah.
what if the temperature rises in a certain level that we cannot be outside during the day? What would happen? So
Mhm.
that was the other element to it too. But it's this that those were more the stakes in a sense for humanity, but more choices as we make. If you look at humanity now, like we all make choices. There is no good or bad. There's always a gray area that people are in. Or
Yeah,
so.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think that I think that it was very like great for you to like. I feel like it was intentional, kind of exploring that gray area because, like you said, I think that it's definitely I kind of how I what I took away from it was like a story of resilience, like how you persevere through that gray area, like how do you manage, how do you maneuver that, and everything like that. So I think that it was definitely crafted with much intention, and I believe you had also mentioned kind of like, and this leads into my next question of what that filmmaking, if you could talk kind of expand on what the filming process is like for you, because also just to highlight all the cinematography was really great. I felt like I was there. It felt like I was outside, like on location, because of just how well, with it was at the time of day and like the sky and everything like that. So I feel like I believe you mentioned the camera movements were like very intentional. Can you talk a little bit about that intention and kind of like the process of crafting that and bringing that to the screen?
So if I would tell you as a producer, like I want to make a short film that takes place in the desert at night, and it's here in LA, where nothing is cheap, and it has to be with a big cast. It's a big challenge. So that's already, and I want to go to the location, and it's not a studio film; it's a short film.
Mm-hmm.
So that was already the biggest challenge. I wanted to make it look natural, and then it's in the desert at night. So we had this big challenge, like how can we film at night? It's going to be dark in the desert. So my DP, Chris Creo, that I've known since AFI, he said there's this camera that it's called an FX3 that basically uses its light source from the moon if it's full moon. So we had to shoot during full moon, but it couldn't be cloudy. So all the elements had, so we had to look at the schedule when we had to shoot. The people that I shot with, they were not my friends. We had to hire all these people. So it's not that we could say, hey, we're going to change the date. So everything had to fall into place. So everything what you see is really there. It's happening. So that was the biggest challenge to get the crew and the cast there. They had to stay there for 3 nights. It was really cold during the night. And luckily, my producer, my line producer, she found this ranch where there was was the desert lake would use,
Mm-hmm.
because usually the desert is also a part of the national monument, so you cannot dig a hole in the surface. That
Okay.
was the biggest thing. So we basically were able to dig the pits in at that surface. So that was the whole thing. And then we had to find a cave. We went to all these caves during on this side of on the west coast,
Mm-hmm.
and it was difficult to find the perfect location. So luckily at Blue Cloud we found this perfect cave that had exactly that open area where the whole community uh, um, um, is the living area, but also Diane, the main character, and the dad had their own little room, and then the tunnel hallway where it's the kind of the shot when she does something to her dad that is like the shot, like you feel a tension, like there's a kind of tension going on that she betrays her dad.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the biggest challenge in that sense, physically to shoot. So yeah, and just to go back to the story, the biggest thing also was for me the subtle things like that don't get resolved. I wanted to try that out. Like, her dad does something to her, but why does she at the end go to him? But in a sense, if you think about it, like if you have a parent that doesn't treat you well, it's always your parent. So are you gonna really in a movie you would maybe do it, but in real life, would you really like say, "Oh, damn you, I'm just leaving you"? Would
Mm-hmm.
you try to do something to help your parent, even if they do something that is morally against you? Would you go as far as death in real life? So that's that go back to the gray area, also the challenge. But the physical thing was the production side was the biggest challenge. If I answer that correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It definitely, like you said, raises those questions, and it all kind of ties back to that gray area, which I think you explored very well in this film. And I also kind of wanted to, you talked about like the cast and crew. Where did you find that your cast and crew? How did that all come
Okay,
about?
so my producing partner is my wife. I met her at AFI, so that was already set, and she pushed me to do this. I wanted to do something else, something more safe. She said, "No, you should do this. This is going to be more interesting for you to do." Chris Carrillo is my DP, also from AFI that I know, and he basically got me a line producer and his whole team, and he got the equipment. The cast, we prepped this during 2023 when there was the writer's strike and the SAG strike. So a lot of actors were out of work, and we did with a casting director and online casting. So we got all our cast, but the most exciting thing that I found was there was this actress that I was like this. So I went to, the casting director sends you a list of actors, and then I found, you see who auditioned. So the actors actually all had to do their own stunts. So that we had to also prep for that. They had to rehearse for a while. So that was the biggest challenge. Most of the actors are not really known, but there's one actor, this Ashley Roman. She was in a show called Why the Last Man. It's about the last man on Earth, and then this all, I don't know if you know this, I think it's FX or something, and the world only there's only women left and one man, and she plays one of the main characters on the show. She's the Shelby, the girl with the dreads who
Yes,
basically did.
yes, 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 yes.
So
Okay,
I
okay.
was looking at a casting director. What's going on here? She says, yeah, she wanted to do this. So I talked to her and like, are you sure you want to do this as a short film? She says, I just want to work. Nothing's going on. So she committed to the project, and she was actually physically the strongest than all of them. Like you saw, she did all the stunts. She had the most difficult stunts for the film, for the short. So yeah, I was blessed to get an amazing cast, and we rehearsed for 3 weeks
Mhm.
at night because they still were doing auditions for commercials and other stuff, but we were able to work on doing the blocking of the drama scenes and also the battle. So and then also they had to make time for the fittings. They had to. I mean, it was like a great involvement of the cast and crew on this short film that we did. So
That's awesome. That's really great.
you know,
I feel like it definitely, I just seeing it all come together. I can imagine it's a very rewarding feeling. Just having that good like casting or having that good crew with you, and then kind of the cast coming together, and um, filling in this piece of art that you made. So, would you say like what was your favorite process? Your favorite part of this process?
the favorite thing actually is that it's something that I do subconsciously is so I grew up in South. So I'm from the Netherlands, but my parents are from Suriname, like a colony in South America. It's like next to Venezuela, and so I come from a very diverse background. And if most of my films are in a very let's say subconsciously, I have a very diverse cast. If you look at this cast, it's very diverse, and
Yeah.
it's in all my projects. So I do not look at color. Actually, the film was a little bit had a racist element to it that we took out because it didn't really work
Mhm.
for the film. It's like the Clint character, who's the leader of the other guy, was like the last white man or something. So we just took the dialogue out when they approached them. But in a sense, like I'm very excited that it's like showing a world where it's so diverse and so mixed, but it's about not about culture, it's about more the characters. There's nothing about it doesn't the focus is not about the race, it's about the tribes, humanity, survival, without focusing on you know that side of it, if I explained it correctly. But
Yeah.
that's basically what I'm proud of, is like this diverse group of cast and crew making this film together in a very uncomfortable situation regarding the weather, the time of day shooting. So I'm already like thinking like this film, if this becomes a feature, I'm working a feature. How are people gonna mentally survive? Because it only takes place at night, so people have to sleep during the daytime and be awake at night
Yeah,
for a month or so.
yeah. Just have to kind of, what is that word? Like you have to. It just reminds me of owl. You sleep
Yeah,
during the day and you're up at night.
yeah,
So you said that this would be you're hoping to kind of develop this into a feature.
yeah. This is based on a feature that I wrote. This is the beginning scene because if you look at the end of the end of the short, our main character ends up with these other two people, so they have to journey to a utopia or something. So it's a whole journey movie. I always compare this with like it's a weird comparison, but when I saw on Disney this there was this documentary series from Disney with Will Smith where he goes to different parts of the world where you
Yes.
travel with him, all this beautiful nature, right?
Hmm.
And that's what I use as a blueprint. Like, what if they travel at night and we see the decay of the world, but the beauty at night, but with their obstacles, of course, try to reach this location. So that's basically the opening of a feature script. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I know when I finished watching this, like I also like it kind of like I was thinking it seemed like it could be potential for more to that story. So that's exciting. I'm sure audiences will be happy to hear that too. So um, we're definitely rooting for you for throughout this whole process, and we look forward to staying tuned um, through the development of the feature and everything like that. Hopefully, once that's finished, you'll resubmit to us. We can do a part two round of
yeah,
the submission.
that would be great. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and my last question for you is, will you be joining us at the festival this year in person?
I would love to, but regarding my work, I'm not able to travel at the moment.
Okay.
So that's kind of a pity. I'd love to meet other filmmakers and, of course, people that take their time to watch my film. Their response. That's still, why we make movies. Sitting in a theater and experiencing this immersive with all these people, and then the emotional reaction to it. That's great. So I was able to go through some screenings here in LA, and it's great to get that reaction. And afterwards, when you talk to other filmmakers, but this time not. Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, we understand, obligations come up, but I'm happy that you were at least able to experience that feeling of like seeing your own film with amongst other people and, just getting to experience that with a collective group of people. We'll still be, supporting on the East Coast.
Hey,
So,
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited that you guys selected the film. It's great with Film Freeway. When you open your Film Freeway, then you get fireworks like with
yeah.
all feature. Like, Golden State. It's like, oh my god, it's so cool.
Yes, it's
Like
very like festive and
a little reward when you get to hear that you're selected. So that's, I mean, I love the States. As I said before, like I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan. I'm a Damon, like Goodwill Hunting and The Town. So this the way the cinematically how to film that area is so beautiful. So I'd love to one day come and visit. So
absolutely. Well, yes, definitely. I hope that you'll be able to hopefully when it's warmer over here. It's a little
yeah,
bit too cold for now, but yes, I do hope that you'll be able to enjoy the East Coast Jersey. Um And yeah, well, thank you again for being here for talking about your film. Again, congratulations on your acceptance, and we look forward to screaming No Nation on Saturday, March 28th at the Asbury Lanes, Block AL8, between 8:55 and 11 p.m. Yes,
cool,
definitely check it
so
out.
cool.
And once again, Garden State Film Festival, we are in our 24th year. 200 films, various countries, screening at 9 different venues, Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. You can get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets, and it'll be a great time. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Jeffrey. Thank you for being here. Um, and, we look forward to just supporting your film.
Thank you so much for screening it and selecting it. I'm so proud to be part of the festival now. So
Absolutely. We're very happy to have you as part of it. So thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.